Hey, Comic Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline. And guys, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Guys, today we are starting our long journey of Grimm Fairy Tales Flashback. That's right, everybody. This is the series where Mike Spider Slayer is going to review every issue of Grimm Fairy Tales, starting with issue 1. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, which is Grimm Fairy Tales issue number 1. The reviews will be coming from the trades, actually. So this will be coming from volume 1 of Grimm Fairy Tales. Here we have the cover of the first trade, and of course inside of it is issue number 1, which has to do with Red Riding Hood. Here you have the cover. You can see the werewolf there, and you have Red, right beneath him. Zenoscope and Grimm Fairy Tales was a lot different back in the past. You're going back to 2005 or whatnot, and this story was basically based off of fairy tales that we all know, like Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, Rumpelstiltskin, Three Little Pigs, and they had this horrific twist to it. And this is where it all started for Zenoscope. So in this particular issue, it's written and created by Joe Taylor and Ralph Tetsko, if that's how you say his name. The pencils were done by Joe Dodd, I think that's how you say it on here. The inks and the colors are done very well. The paneling is done great, and I thought the artwork was solid in this premiere issue of Grimm Fairy Tales here. There's not a lot of action that happens in the actual issue, but again, this is just an introduction to what this series, what this series is, and the tone that is setting for future issues to come, and get the reader familiar of what this series is going to offer to its readers. So in this first issue, it's all about Red Riding Hood. And it's funny because in this actual story, you never get to see the girl's real name, just her name in the actual fairy tale of Red Riding Hood, and she's known as Red, which I thought was kind of interesting. So the issue opens up, and it opens up with this guy named Chad, and these are young teenagers. It takes place, in their junior year of high school, and the guy's trying to put the moves on her, and she wants to hold herself. She wants to reserve herself. It's very important for her, and obviously the guy, all he's looking to do is to, get laid, to be honest with you. And he bails on her and whatnot, and she's all upset. And then what happens is she finds the mysterious book. So she comes across this book, and she starts looking at it, and it takes her away into Grimm Fairy Tale land. And all of a sudden she's being called Red, and she has to take the picnic basket over to grandmother's house. And she comes across a lover of hers, one that she had intimate relations with in the past, and his name is Samuel. And he wants to be with her, and she rejects him. And she has to remember to stay on this path before it gets dark to grandmother's house. And you can see her going down the dark woods, which was really cool and dark, and it made you feel like you were going into this other world. And she comes across this guy Jacob, who is a lumberjack, and in the issue he tries to warn her, beware of wolves, there's wolf tracks out in the dirt, be careful. And she's like, okay, and she tries to stay on the path. And the next thing you see is the mysterious man changing into a werewolf. And I thought the artwork right here is where it shined best in this particular issue, where you see the moon and you see the wolf in front of the moon. So that's really cool. And just as Red gets to her grandmother's house, she finds out that her grandmother was taken away by the big bad wolf. And the next thing you see is you see Jacob make an appearance, and then you see a werewolf make the appearance, and you see this battle between Red Riding Hood and the werewolf and Jacob. And by the end of the issue, you find out who this werewolf is, which I thought was really interesting. And then Red, she winds up waking up and she's like, wow, I never thought this book could give me such a nightmare. Everything is so vivid and everything's so clear. But this book obviously has magical powers because you can see that she really went on this adventure here because there's leaves and dirt in her bed and things like that. So it took her to the other realm, to the fairy tale realm. And that's what ended the first issue of Grimm Fairy Tales. Now, it's been a very long time since I read this first issue of the series, and going back and reading it today, I thought it was very well done. I thought it was well written. It immerses you into the world of Red Riding Hood, made you feel like you were in that world, and it's cool because they never gave you the character's real name, like Red Riding Hood's real name in here. You just know her as Red, and I like seeing the journey that she went on, and I like seeing the little twist at the end where it's not just a dream, it's reality in the same sense. It took her somewhere else. So it's a good introduction to the series and sets the tone for what's to come in at least this first volume of Grimm Fairy Tales. Now, later on, this series does take a total change, and Salem Mathers is not even mentioned in this particular issue. So she hasn't even made her appearance yet here. So really cool issue. I really enjoyed it for what it's worth. Plotline may be a little bit basic, because it's based off of a children's book, but I like the artwork, and I thought it was a solid read. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. And guys, tell me what you thought. Did you ever read Grimm Fairy Tales before? And if not, now's your chance to pick it up. The trade here is $15.99, and it collects issues 1 through 6. So guys, until next week, until I bring you issue number 2 review of Grimm Fairy Tales, this is Mike Spiderslayer signing off. And guys, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.